Okay, with the time at 9 o'clock, I suppose I better declare the Easypal net open. This is a weekly net at 9 p.m. every Thursday night, a sanctioned activity of the repeater owner, who is Amateur Radio Victoria, and we use the Easypal digital slow scan software. When I say digital slow scan, it's more properly a digital audio file streaming program, or it's a program for streaming any digital file on audio. It can be text, animated GIF, short video sequence, photograph, whatever, text. So let's see, we have VK3FMLD, Chris. We have VK3FTZD, who may be a little delayed, Tim. We have VK3FRJH. Just trying to think of the name there, Steve. We have VK3BOT, Stan, and VK3FTJS, Terry. Do we have any other call-ins? VK3 Alpha Mike Lima on behalf of the Easypal group standing by. Okay, looks like we're off and away. Chris, just hang on a sec. Sound in, sound out. Easypal initialising. Sorry about the delay. I wasn't expecting my my batteries for my standalone digicorder to be so flat, but I have been using them a bit this week. Before we start, I'm putting together a talk on Easypal for EMDRC 7th of August meeting, and one particular thing that I need for that is somebody who has on their computer a screen recorder, so that you can record the screen as an Easypal image is received. The waterfall coming down on the left-hand side, if the picture is progressive, the way the progressive picture forms. I don't have a screen recorder. If anybody knows of any freeware to do it, please let me know, or even if there's inexpensive paid software that you can use to do it. I'd be most interested, but I have a thing called Screencast-O-Matic, but it's very jerky in its results, and I really would like something better. Anyway, Chris, VK3FMLD, I have you down as number one. Are you in a position to transmit the first image, VK3AML?
VK3AML, VK3FRJH. Check out OBS, that's Oscar Bravo Sierra. That's a good screen recorder.
OBS screen recorder. Okay, thanks, Steve. I'll give that a try. Anyway, back to Chris, VK3FMLD, VK3AML.
VK3FMLD, and good evening to everybody. Been a fairly normal sort of a week for me. Caught up with a long-time friend for the first time in probably 45 years today on Facebook. I'll have a chat on the phone tomorrow, which is a bit exciting. Haven't seen him or his brother or any of their families for years and years and years, so that'll be a good catch-up. In the meantime and in between time, at the drop of the repeater, I shall send an Easypal picture, and something that's fairly relevant to us older people. Okay, how did we go with that one? VK3AML, VK3FMLD.
For the first half of the transmission, your audio was going on, off, on, off, on, off. The carrier was continuing. For the second half, the level was too high for me to lock. VK3FTJS, how did you go on that?
Definitely no lock, mate. Picture wasn't real great to start with either. His call sign and so forth, yeah.
Okay, could you back off the level, Chris, and give that a go again? And I don't know what was causing the audio to switch on, off, on, off, on, off at about half-second intervals, but something very strange was going on.
Strange, okay. Alright, we'll try again. I had the level the same as I had it last week, so nothing's changed that I can think of in my setup here. Yeah, we'll see. Alright, I shall send it again and see where we go. Okay, hopefully that at that level it was better.
Got a partial lock, but on, off, on, off, on, off. VK3FMLD, VK3FTZD. Are you with us yet, Tim?
Not yet there, Chris. I'm just driving into our estate now, so I'm still a little bit away. It still sounds a little bit high in volume. One thing I've been looking into is possibly using a couple of 10k resistors to separate both left and right channels, and then also to bring down that level so it's not affected by such a small difference on the PC end. That's what I've been thinking anyway, but might be something completely different on your end there, Chris. But it does definitely sound a little bit high level still.
Agreed. I think it's too high. What about you, Steve, VK3FRJH? Were you having the same trouble with lock?
Way too high, yeah, no lock. Yeah, levels were high, Chris.
And Stan, same trouble?
Yeah, it's too high. I got a couple of locks, and it's showing here that it was 8 dB signal to noise, but no good. No good. Back to the drawing board.
Okay, Chris. If you could back down the level a little bit and try again.
So it was at 18 when I started. It was at 15 for that one. I shall send this one at 11 and see what happens. Why am I getting crackling in my headphones? It stopped. Alright, I shall try that again, and if that doesn't work, then I'll scratch my head and you can step on through the next, and I'll have another go next time round. us a yell on that one, and if no good, I'll have a play with things this end. Chris, VK3 AML, VK3 FMLD.
Results here were very much better, but you were stunkered by the repeater ident, but I got you at 16 dB. Youth is a time of rapid change between the ages of 12 and 17. A parent can age 30 years. Okay, I'll pay that. Did you get that, Steve? VK3FRJH, VK3AML.
So I was originally getting it at 7 dB and I was getting it, but then the repeater ident happened.
Okay, well, yeah, we got it here, but only just as a result of the repeater ident. And so don't worry about it. You've got the right level there, Chris. Stan, how did you go? VK3BOT, VK3AML.
No, it would have been fine, except for that repeater, that thing that we've been complaining about ever since they upgraded the repeater a couple of years ago. That gets everybody. In the early days, if you might remember, we could actually override the repeater, and although it definitely dented us, but it didn't do what it's doing now. So, yeah, unless they fix that repeater, on short files like this one, because this is a quick file, we're always going to get, doesn't matter whoever it is, if they send a short file and the repeater comes through at the same time, you've got no hope. So there we are. VK3BOT said that one.
Yeah, no worries. VK3FTJS, how did you go, Terry? VK3AML.
Yeah, no cigar, mate. Not at all.
Okay, looks like I was the only one who got it, but don't worry, Chris. It was not your fault. It's just the fact that it was a short file and it was a long repeater ident that pounded you out. But had you not had that repeater ident, you would have been through with at least 16 dB, probably a lot more. So your level is about right. Okay, Steve. Now, tonight Steve is set up for transmitting pictures, so let's see what happens there. VK3FRJH, VK3AML.
Just quickly there, Chris, VK3FTZD here. I'm just going to go clear for a few minutes while I do some stuff inside, and then I'll jump out to the shack.
No problem, Tim. Catch you then. Over to you, Steve.
I do have an image, I'm just waiting for it to load, so I need a few minutes.
You'd like me to put Stan in front then, and I can change the order?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's 1 VK3FMLD, 2 Stan, 3 FRJH. Okay, Stan, take it away. VK3BOT and group VK3AML.
Very good. And here's hoping that the repeater will be kind to us. VK3BOT, at the drop of the repeater, will make a horrible noise.
Yep, well, I got it at 13 dB. Level was a trifle high, but I tried to call 911, but do you know how hard it is to get reception inside a wall? Okay. Right, Stan. VK3FMLD, Chris, how did you go? VK3AML.
3AML in the group, VK3FMLD. Yeah, 77 segments and no decode at 2 dB, unfortunately.
Oh dear, it sounds like the level was a bit high, Stan. Steve, VK3FRJH, how'd you go?
27 segments, no decode.
And Terry, VK3FTJS, how did you go?
Yeah, 9 dB decode. Yeah, not bad.
Okay, it might be worthwhile running it again, Stan, with a bit lower level. VK3BOT, VK3AML. Okay, how did you go, Chris, that time? VK3FMLD, VK3AML.
AML, VK3FMLD, I think I found the source of my problem. I had my standing wave ratio meter in line during the week when I was playing with antennas, and I had plugged the plug back into the radio, but I hadn't screwed up the sleeve. I wonder what that was doing to my transmission. It'd be leaking RF everywhere inside the shack. So yes, 2 dB, but full resolution that time.
Oh, great. Okay. Steve, VK3FRJH, how'd you go?
Yeah, full decode, high, 8 dB signal to noise ratio.
And Terry, 3FTJS, VK3AML, how'd you go?
Yeah, 15 dB. That's actually come up 7 dB to what the earlier one was.
Yeah, I think, Stan, you're much closer to the right level there. 16 dB here. VK3BOT, VK3AML.
I'm actually a bit suspicious of the repeater, Chris, because you had 2 in a row with exactly the same problem. I did touch the dial here, but only just. And the other thing that I did was that I noticed that it wasn't transmitting the way that it should have been, and I fiddled with the cord going into the radio, and it started to transmit. But I suspect it might be a repeater issue rather than because 2 was in a row that had exactly the same thing. It'll be interesting to see if anybody else has the problem. But I barely touched it, barely touched the TX meter. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how we go. At any rate, it's there. I'm actually going to reboot the program just in case it's an Easypal program. It might be, because sometimes that does happen. Sometimes the gremlins get into it, and that happens. So while between now and the next picture, I'll cut the program down and start it up again. VK3BOT said that.
Okay, Stan, good. Well, Steve, I guess it's up to you now. VK3FRJH, VK3AML.
VK3AML, I'm ready to transmit an image, so I will just get one ready for you, and it will be transmitting very soon.
All right.
I'm having a slight issue. It is telling me my file has been changed but not set.
Shall we come back to you later then? Oh, wait a minute. Just push the set button and then try again.
Where is the set button?
In your TX window, down the bottom, you'll find right at the bottom gamma, and to the left of that a little button marked SET.
Found it. I'll be giving it another shot now. VK3FRJH.
Oh, I know a lot of those people. So, VK3FMLD, how did you do? That transmission, by the way, Steve, I got at 12 dB and not much in the way of low frequencies below about 700 hertz, but the rest of it up to 2700 hertz was fine. So there, I don't think you've optimized your interface yet, but it's certainly working here. And I got that image no problem at all. VK3FMLD, how'd you go, Chris? VK3AML.
AML, VK3FMLD. Very, very low level, I would say. When I turned the volume up and got a lock, I managed to get 30 of the 62 segments. So I didn't get a resolution on that, but I was able to get it locked by turning the volume up. As a result, of course, everybody else is going to be too loud for it now. VK3 AML, VK3 FMLD.
That's going to be very weird because my laptop's at 100% volume. I don't think my laptop sound card, it has a few issues going to certain frequencies.
Yeah, well, it may be a coupling capacitor issue or isolation transformer issue. Stan, VK3BOT, how'd you go?
Well, actually, I was amazed because I didn't think it was going to go, but I got a lock almost straight away, and we got 6 dB. Which is low, but and the volume definitely could go up a little bit, but not too much. But no, I was amazed. It came through really well. Yeah, good picture.
Yeah, I must say it's a great way for a person to irradiate themselves, to have that many around your waist, and particularly down near your private parts. That's the last place I'd stick a handheld transceiver. Anyway, VK3FTJS over to you, Terry. VK3AML.
Yeah, being ex-security industry, Chris, you could imagine what I've seen over the years when it comes to radios and what they've done with them. We used to have people swinging keys off. They used to use them as key holders. They used to walk around holding them by the antennas. Yeah, and then they wonder why they wouldn't work. All sorts of great things. But yeah, definitely. I don't think he'll be making too many children.
If he does, they'll be amateur radio enthusiasts. Anyway, Steve, you've managed to get through to most of us. And congratulations on your first image on the net, VK3FRJH, VK3AML.
Good.
Okay, we'll move on to Terry, VK3FTJS. Over to you, Terry.
This is something probably the older blokes in the group can appreciate. Some of the younger blokes mightn't understand what it's all about, but I'm sure we'll be able to explain it to them. All right, here we go with an image.
Oh, yes. I got that at 24 dB. Christ. You do extremely well, Terry. The old PMG. And yeah, the license they're referring to there was the broadcast listener's license, not a transmitting license, and they still would fine you for that. I think that was one of the things that the Whitlam government got rid of about 1973 or thereabouts. VK3FMLD, how did you go, Chris? VK3AML.
3AML, VK3FMLD. By the time I got my volume reorganised to the right level, I'd missed too many segments. Unfortunately, no, not for me. But now I've got the volume at about the right level. I should be right for the rest of the night, he says, hopefully.
Okay, Chris. VK3FRJH. Wait a minute. VK3BOT. Stan. VK3AML. How'd you go?
Well, I really think that the biggest problem we're going to have tonight is actually adjusting our volumes, because that one was really loud and the other one's been really quiet, which is going to give the poor old radio a bit of heart failure. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what, not bad. 17 dB. If you get 17 dB from me, you ain't got nothing to complain about. That's damn good, yeah. I never had to have those, but a similar thing went to CB radio, if you remember, Chris. It was a similar sort of thing. Yeah, and you always knew when the radio inspectors were in town, because there was cars running around with that. They looked like a porcupine. VK3AML, VK3BOT.
Yeah, they used to have actually listening cars trying to detect the IF of radio and TV receivers and then check whether people had receiving licenses at one stage. VK3FRJH, Steve, how did you go with that image?
Full decode, signal to noise ratio 21 dB.
Yep, Terry does pretty well. So, Terry, any other comments on that image?
No. I thought it'd just, make a few hairs stand up on the back of the neck.
Well, it did at the time. Anyway, I think it's my turn, and then we'll see if Tim's set up yet. This photo was taken on a visit to Peter Parker, VK3YE, and you will see on the screen of his transmitter which frequency he usually sits on, VK3AML, with an Easypal pick at the drop of the repeater. And this is mode A, so this might test your sig to noise. Okay, Chris, VK3FMLD, how did you do on that? VK3AML.
AML, VK3FMLD. I had a perfect lock and synchronisation was happening all over the place. And then at 35 seconds the ID came in and killed it completely. so I got 123 segments out of your 162. It took about 10 seconds after the ID for it to resync. So no decode.
Similar story from you, Stan? 3BOT, 3AML.
No, we're all good here. 162, 162, okay, remaining segments, 12 dB. It was actually very good, and now I know something about Peter that I didn't know before. Chris is right, mate, that ident is a pain in the rear end, because that's quite a long file, that one. I don't know how long it took for you to send it, Chris, but it's a long time. But unfortunately, that repeater ident, it really kills things, and yes, it does take a while after it stops transmitting before we get the lock again. Nothing you can do about that. It's all to do with the repeater operators until they get their act together. We have to live with it. VK3BOT said that.
No worries, Stan. I'm surprised you got it at all if the ident came in the middle of a Mode A file with not too much error correction. Steve, VK3FRJH, any luck? VK3AML.
No decode. 6 dB signal to noise, but the ident killed it for me. If anyone's okay with it, I wouldn't mind getting this one as a test, you know.
Can you send a BSR file? I'll take that as a no, I think.
What was the question?
Now, if part of a signal, if part of a stream in Easypal is missed, you can send what's called a BSR file. That's a broken segment report. There's a button for it. At the top right of the set of buttons above your waterfall display. Do you see that? BSR?
Oh, Sierra Romeo?
That's it. You click on that and a wizard should pop up with the name of the file I've just sent. Then next to that you'll see a button underneath the wizard saying Send Selected Request. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, could you send us the necessary file and then I can send you the missing information?
I'll just decode it from the stream. I'm having some issues at the moment.
Okay, who else could send a... How about Chris, can you send a BSR?
Fortunately not, Chris. I still haven't made up my white cable to work on the other PC.
Okay, look, as two people haven't got this, I'll do it again. Okay, that was a 79-second Mode A file. How did you go this time, Chris? VK3FMLD, VK3AML.
AML Easypal, VK3FMLD. Yep, perfect. 7 dB, which is probably a bit low for you. Maybe the fact that I was playing with my antenna and it's sitting at a bit of an angle at the moment is actually affecting my reception tonight.
Okay. VK3BOT, we know you got it, Stan. VK3FRJH, Steve, how did you go?
I got a full decode.
Good stuff. Well, now you know where to call Peter, 3YE. VK3FTJS, you're okay on that file?
Yeah, 21 dB, spot on as usual.
Okay, good. Anyway, the next would be VK3FTZD. Are you with us yet, Tim? VK3AML.
He's still trying to get Bubby to sleep.
I think I'd give it a shot of gin at this point. Okay, back to the top for the moment. Chris, VK3FMLD, would you care to take it for one? VK3AML.
AML, VK3FMLD. Yeah, no problems. This one's been around for a while, but I think it's funny. And it probably more applies these days when people aren't working than it does when they were. So at the top of the repeater, another little humorous thing. I might just increase it to 60 seconds and reset it. So about 67 seconds, 20k of a little bit of humour for you. And mode B. Okie dokie, how did that go?
I don't know whether I'm game to say, Chris. VK3BOT, did you get that, VK3AML?
Yeah, right, okay. We got that 11 dB, and I'll just leave that one there, VK3BOT, so that's yours next. Whoever's next. That's a Chinese fella.
VK3FRJH, did you get that, VK3AML?
Full decode, 12 dB.
Oh, how unfortunate for you. Terry, by the way, Chris, that was 20 dB here, so very, very good. You got your levels about right now. VK3FTJS, how'd you do, VK3AML?
Yeah, 14 dB, and yeah, I thought I was the only one who's allowed to sail close to the winds.
He's sailing so close to the wind, I think he's up on the rocks already. Any other comments, Chris? VK3 FMLD, VK3AML.
Careful, Icarus.
I think I'll just leave that as it is, but I'm glad you got the humour of it. Yeah, it is a bit close to the wind, I agree, but and I contemplated sending it last week and decided not to. But tonight, I just thought it would tickle a few gearboxes there. VK3 AML, VK3 FMLD.
I must admit I'm interested enough that after the net I'll have a look at, how can I pronounce this, fewkitol.com. Oh dear. Stan, VK3BOT, I think you got it. FTJS, yes you did. So now we're on to Stan, VK3BOT. Away you take it.
Okay. This is this weekend. Yeah, just this weekend, just gone. There's a couple of these pictures, and this is the worst of them. So I'll give you the worst to start with, and then you can. It improves after that. VK3 BOT at the drop of the repeater.
You get the prize, Stan, for the longest it takes for a picture to resolve itself after you stop transmitting. It took a full 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden all of the blocky bits disappeared, and it's got a beautiful image. Nice side awning for your car there. VK3FMLD, how did you go? VK3AML.
AML, VK3 FMLD. Yeah, no problems. And like you, I don't think it took 5 seconds, maybe 3 or 4, 10 seconds, maybe 3 or 4. And I thought, oh, this isn't going to resolve, this isn't going to resolve. Bang, and it was already there, and it was all there. So, yeah, mode A, 106, 106, okay, and full resolved. And, yeah, it looks like a nice place to go and do things on a weekend, either amateur radio or not. VK3 AML, VK3 FMLD.
Round of 3 FRJH, how did you go, Steve?
10 dB over.
And it all resolved?
Full decode.
Good stuff. Yeah, did it resolve as a progressive for you? That is, did the picture slowly form itself?
I don't know. I was eating my dinner and looked up and it was there.
Ah, okay. For most of us, we have it on progressive resolve from Stan, and what you see first is a very fuzzy image with lots of blotches on it, and it gradually gets clearer and clearer as the transmission progresses. VK3FTJS, Terry, how did you go?
At 16 dB, and yeah, I've got the same thing going on with the image. It's very delayed when it goes to unload. I don't know if that's speed of file or speed of transfer or not. I'm not sure.
I think it's fairly, the progressive is pretty heavy on CPU load, just looking at the graph of the usage when I do that, and I think it takes some time for the CPU to number crunch to give the results. Anyway, Stan, necessary explanation. It looks like a very good camp arrangement. VK3BOT, to expound, VK3AML.
Well, it's actually one of my stamping grounds. It's only about an hour from here. It's up at Kirst Kiln. And I slept in the car. As you know, Sunday night and Monday were bitterly darn cold here, and it was just as cold up there as what it was down here. And things have been a bit hectic around here lately, Chris. It hasn't been exactly the easiest place to be. So I decided it was time to pack up and shoot through, which is what I did. And I left probably around about 11 o'clock on Sunday, and I got back at around about 1 o'clock on Tuesday. But it was a nice place to be. There's around about 35 campsites up there, and there were six occupied. So social distancing wasn't a problem. But yeah, it was just nice to get away. There's some other pictures. That's the worst of them. There's better pictures than that one. But at any rate, it's there, and it was good. Back to you, VK3AML, VK3BOT.
Yeah, it's a nice setup, Stan. I envy you from that point of view, so far as it goes. My wife is not into camping, so I've never been able to persuade her to do anything like that, unfortunately. But very nice pick, and thanks for taking it. It reminds me of how much I should get out in the bush. Steve, VK3FRJH, are you set up with the next photo? VK3AML.
Just a second, I will be. It's at the drop of the repeater.
Cheech and Chong. Gosh, that takes me back. And that photo must be 45 years old if it's a day. God. My ill-spent youth. Oh dear. Chris, did you get that? VK3FMLD, VK3AML.
AML, VK3FMLD. My first reaction was, Dave's not here, man. 6 dB and full decode.
Good stuff. Stan, how did you go? VK3BOT, VK3AML.
8 dB here, and I'll bet they don't look like that no more. VK3BOT said that.
Oh no, they look like they've had a high mileage lifestyle, particularly Mr. Cheech. VK3FTJS, Terry, how did you go? VK3AML.
Yeah, 9 dB, all good, mate. Watched that movie when I was in high school.
Well, I think I'd just come out of Swinburne Tech by that stage. You're making me feel very old, Terry. Anyway, congratulations, Steve. You seem to be resolved by everybody in the group. VK3FTZD, are you back with us yet, Tim? No, he's still bashing the baby to sleep by the sounds of things. So, Terry, it's yours, VK3FTJS, VK3AML.
At the drop of the repeater.
Good one, Terry. 24 dB, better even than last time. And yeah, next time I go through a car wash, I'll think of that. VK3FMLD, how did you do? VK3AML.
AML VK3 FMLD. Unfortunately, that I then came in at about 35 segments and never resynced. So yeah, no decode. Signal to noise on the segments I did receive was 9 dB.
Oh dear. Okay. Stan, VK3BOT, how'd you do? VK3AML.
Yeah, we come in here at 14 dB. Yeah, I must miss something with the picture, but yeah, that one went straight over the top of my head like an aircraft. But at any rate, it resolved itself. I didn't think it was going to. He got really badly hit with a repeater, and then his notifications going off in the background, and we're hearing all about him down here at Frankston. Yeah. Back to you, Chris, VK3AML, VK3BOT.
Yeah, okay, Stan. Well, that's what you see on your windscreen if you go through an auto car wash with multicoloured detergent, which they use for some reason best known to themselves. And in mythology, unicorns are supposed to excrete rainbows. This is unicorn excrescence. VK3 FRJH, VK3AML, how did you do?
Very well. I got a 16 dB decode and quite a good laugh out of it.
Good stuff. 3, 4. Terry, VK3FTJS. Sorry, that came from you. That means it's mine, I think.
Yours, mate.
Okay. One of the nicest pictures of a guy in his ham shack that I've ever taken. The jolly, jovial Roscoe Hammond, VK3KRH, who used to transmit from Clayton, moved to Arrawatta down in Gippsland, and now runs a completely digital shack. And this is him running his completely digital shack. Software-defined transceiver, big screen, about 28 inch, with full display of whatever band you're on, high quality condenser microphone, and a very good linear amplifier with all the measuring equipment you could want to have. He's single, so he doesn't have the encumbrance of a partner to look after. So his life is amateur radio, and he makes a pretty good go of it. Here is VK3KRH in a photo taken last December. Okay, Chris, VK3FMLD, how'd you do?
The full decode. That's a nice looking shack. I think that might be a bit bigger than 20. Yeah, I think it might be a 32-inch screen.
Well, he certainly has no trouble seeing where all the other signals on the band are. Yeah, good on you, Chris. VK3BOT, Stan, how'd you do? VK3AML.
Yeah, 16 dB. I'm still amazed at the size of the radio. I presume the radio is directly underneath the screen. Is that right?
I think the radio is controlled by a computer which is hidden underneath the desk. That underneath the screen... Oh, you might be right, because I think the computer is actually in the radio, which is one of those fully self-contained things. It costs a couple of $1,000, perhaps even a bit more than that. But about 2 years ago, Roscoe decided to go completely digital, and that shack that you see there is the result. I think as time goes on, the cost of that sort of stuff will drop. That's probably the future of amateur radio. VK3BOT, VK3AML.
Okay, so that massive black box that's directly underneath the screen and immediately behind the keyboard and has a blue screen on the left-hand side of it, that is actually a radio computer combined.
That's correct. The linear is on the left on the white bench. Back to you.
I think I'll stick with what I've got. Yeah, I think I'll stick with what I've got. Very good. Nice picture though. Yeah. Not bad. And like you said, you can't miss anything, can you? Yeah. Okay. VK3BOT said that.
Yeah, the biggest key to his success is that he has a site up in the Strzelecki Ranges, very good earth conductivity, very low noise, neighbours. The closest one is 500 metres away, and no HT lines. The 240 volt line runs from his place almost a kilometre back to the road, so that his noise level is the lowest of any ham shack I've ever been in. If somebody was using a handheld in Iceland, he could probably hear it. It's just unbelievable. I've been in shacks in remote parts of New Zealand, but Roscoe's absolutely takes the cake for the lowest noise I have ever heard. VK3FRJH, Steve, did you get that okay? VK3AML.
So I did 16 dB over, full decode. I think Flex make a bunch of radios which do that kind of thing.
Certainly is a Flex radio.
Yeah, I think you're right. Well done, Steve. You picked that straight away. You got the picture okay then?
Decode.
Okie doke. VK3FTJS Terry, how many dB did you do? VK3AML.
Yeah, 21, mate. Yeah, that's definitely a Flex radio. Yeah, very nice. I'm not sure if they go above HF, but I think they're only dedicated to HF, which is a bit of a loss. But then again, if you're in the bush, mate, hey, what's the use of having VH and UH? There's not much action happening.
Yeah, you're right. I think there's only 1 or 2 repeaters that are usable from his place. I think the one at Bass Hill and the one at Mount Tassie, just from memory. But basically his site is... I can get him on VHF from here just. He's just about 110, 120 kilometres from me. He's right on my radio horizon. Can get him with a repeater, of course, but direct is just possible on 2 metres. I've worked him a couple of times. Okay, I think we're back to the top again. VK3... we'll check whether Tim is there. VK3FTZD. Are you there, Tim? VK3AML.
Can I jump in, Chris?
VK3FTZD. I am here, finally. Got the computer set up right in front of me. Only just started setting up the spreadsheet, though. Can you confirm the order of people on tonight? I've got FMLD, FRJH, BOT, FTJS, AML and myself.
Okay, the order is FMLD 1, BOT 2, FRJH 3, FTJS 4, AML 5, and you would be 6, Tim.
Awesome as. Okay. I've now got that there and should be good to go. Anything I've missed, major? Sorry, anything I've missed that's major there, Chris? VK3AML, VK3FTZD.
Sorry, if you'd like to go ahead.
No, I don't have an image ready to go. I've only just sat down in front of the computer and set up the spreadsheet. I haven't got an image loaded up, so I'll go on the next round there, Chris.
Okay, over to you, Chris, VK3FMLD, VK3AML.
Can I jump in first, Chris?
Yeah, sure, Stan.
Look, that location that he's got out there, Chris, that's the perfect location to do those experimenting with VHF, UHF. If you were to set up a beam, you find you would get him in those mediums really, really well. When I was a novice, we were only allowed, I don't know how much we were allowed, I think it was about, 30 watts, and I think we were allowed 10 on AM and FM. And my nearest, I lived at Merredin over in Western Australia, and my nearest repeater to me was 140 kilometres away. It was the Northern repeater, and it was 140 kilometres away. Now, my aim was to reach that repeater. Well, you got no hope of getting that with 10 watts on 2 metres, so there was only one way, build a beam. And that's exactly what I did, I built a beam. And then there was another guy over there, this is when I was studying for my full call, VK6KKR, Norm Hurd was his name, he's deceased now, long gone. But if I wanted, he was 160 kilometres as the crow flies from whereabouts I lived. And with my 10, well, it wasn't even 10 watts, it was just a flame, and it was a 1 watt radio, and originally it was a 14 element beam, but then it came back to a 7 element beam, and I could throw a signal to him. To me, the incentive was taking that little bit of power and throwing it a very, very long way to see what you could get. Now, this guy out here, he would be exactly the same. There is a great incentive to go ahead and do that sort of stuff as an experiment, Chris. Over, VK3AML, VK3BOT.
Yeah, I think Roscoe, most of his friends hang around 40 and 80 metres, some on 20, but I sense that he's basically an HF man. But he does have a VHF radio, and I can get him on FM from here without any conditions being in, but I think that's just about my radio horizon. If we, myself and Roscoe, really wanted to set up a really good link and, as you say, use 2 beams, same polarisation pointing at each other, say of 10 elements or something, we certainly would have a very solid link. There's no doubt about that. The gain of a beam, 12 or 14 dB, a lot of advantage there. Anyway, thanks for that, Stan. Roscoe, if you can hear me, you've just been seen by the group. This was a night that Anthony 3JIA, myself, 3ASC Dave, and we all got together, the 4 of us, ASC, AML, JIA and KRH, and this photo was taken at the end of a good get-together with a cup of coffee. Okay, VK3FMLD, VK3AML, back to the top of the list, Chris.
AML, VK3FMLD, yeah, no problems. I've had this picture for quite a long time, and I always thought that it was impossible to do. It's allegedly a photograph of the moon and the sun over either the north or either the Arctic or the the Antarctic. I don't believe that it's possible for this relationship to occur in that area, and it's allegedly looking due north, so it's not possible. So I don't know, even if it's looking at east or west, I think probably unlikely. But it's a bit of fun, and I used to use it as a background on my work computer back in the days when I worked for Telecom Australia. So I've had this since before 1994. The file load says Arctic Sunset, but I still don't believe it.
21 dB, Chris. You're doing extremely well here, and it's Arctic Sunset, Struth. Yeah, as you say, it's got to be. That has got to be a photo montage, an assemblage of images. There's no way the sun and the moon would be in that proportion. But it's an impressive shot anyway. VK3BOT, how did you go with that, Stan? VK3AML?
Much better, actually. I cranked up the volume on the radio a bit, and that helped things immensely. I think that might be photoshopped. Good image, though. It wasn't going to rain either. No rain was going to come out of that one. 11 dB at VK3BOT.
Yeah, that's for sure. Good. VK3FRJH, Steve, how did you go?
Decode, 12 dB over.
Great stuff. Terry, VK3FTJS, how did you go?
14 dB, but no cigar, Chris. I think I'm about 18 or 17 packets short.
Can you send a BSR?
I think I can. Hang on a moment. Which one would it be? I've got a whole pile of them, Chris.
Arctic Sunset.
I can't do anything with a BSR.
I might be able to. Let's see.
I'll send it to you then. You go, Chris?
Because my receiving computer and my transmitting computer are different, I can't do anything with that BSR, and I'm sorry.
I'll see if this works, but it's come up with something really strange. Cannot repair. Hang on. Copy, paste.
Yeah, 22 dB, Chris.
I couldn't see any way that I could repair that BSR, so I cut and paste. So you got it?
Yeah, 22 dB, yeah, spot on.
Okay, good. FTJS, FTZD, how did you do? VK3AML.
No, I've got a bit of static on the coming through from the repeater here, possibly due to some installation of some racking inside the garage and the location of my antenna in proximity to those. And of course I didn't get any sort of lock on that. I'm just trying to relocate the antenna, so I've got to move some coax around and whatnot to try to get it a little bit away from the racking. But no lock for me. It was coming through at 15 dB, but the last one just would not lock at all.
Oh, pity. Well, it's gone through twice, so we better move on. FMLD. So it's over to you, Stan. VK3BOT and group VK3AML.
Very good. After a drop of the repeater, VK3BOT will send a picture.
Oh, pretty Polly. Very nice, Stan. VK3FMLD, how did you go, Chris?
Cracker. Good 6 dB and full decode. Yeah, nice picture. Yeah, I love our Australian native birds.
I think that's a Crimson Rosella. VK3FRJH, how did you do, Steve? VK3AML.
dB, full decode.
Very good. VK3FTJS, Terry, how'd you do?
Yeah, 15 dB, Chris, and yeah, nice bird. We got rainbow lorikeets in the backyard here. We got a heap of them.
Yeah, they're predominantly green. These ones with the red chest, I think, are Rosellas, unless I'm very much mistaken. Eastern Rosellas. VK3, 3, 4, 5, Tim, VK3FTZD, VK3AML.
Yeah, Chris, I got that coming through at 13 dB, but 11 remaining segments. I can see what it is and make out exactly what it is from the partial decode. You can see it's a very pretty coloured bird, but that's about it. Did you want me to take over running the net for the night?
Yeah, I'd prefer that. But first of all, Stan, a quick explanation of that image, and I presume it isn't a Rosella.
Yes, it most certainly is a Rosella. And that little fellow was less than 2 metres from me. At one point he came round and was picking up twigs on the ground, and he would have been close to, maybe 1 metre. Very friendly little fellow. There was him and his mate. There was two of them. And that's a little pile of wood that I had started to cut up for the evening fire, and he was sitting on top of it. It was really good, actually. I'll tell you what, it's really, really relaxing out there. Yeah, so that's it. I've got one more of these to go, but not of that one. This is just something else. VK3AML, back to you, VK3BOT.
Yeah, no worry. So, Tim, are you in a position to transmit yet? Oh, wait a minute. 3BOT. It's over to Steve, VK3FRJH, VK3AML. Sorry about that.
I have an image, so unless anyone objects, it will be at the drop of the repeater.
VK3FRJH, VK3FTZD. Didn't get a decode on that one, sorry. The level seems a bit low. It's saying 13, but no decode. Chris, VK3FMLD, how did you go?
Problems. I turned the volume up loud just before he started to transmit, and I got that at 7 dB and a full decode. Interesting. Some audio equipment there, including guitars and drums and amplifiers. It sounds like it was taken on an interesting day. VK3FTZD, VK3FMLD.
Excellent. VK3BOT, how did you go decoding Steve's image?
9 dB at VK3BOT, file OK, full decode. Interesting. There will be an explanation to follow, no doubt.
Yeah, sounding like I missed out on a good picture. VK3FTJS, how did you go decoding that one?
Yeah, 10 dB. Lost a little bit at the start, but it picked itself up. But yeah, I noticed these levels were up and down a bit.
Yeah, okay. VK3AML, how did you go?
14 dB, some very interesting audio gear there. I can understand how Steve has been able to adapt the audio gear for transmitting on Easypal now knowing that he has a bit of a background there. Back to you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. VK3FRJH. Steve, do you have an explanation on this one?
Yes, I do have an explanation. It's not the greatest image because there was about 60 people on the other side of that camera. It was quite a large place we were playing in. Looks small in there. So that was my last band before I got kicked out. Playing live, yeah, probably about 50, 60 people were there. The interesting thing about this is the amplifier that we were using was a bass amp that we found on the side of the road, and I fixed up, it had a few things wrong with it, nothing major, and we were playing electric drums, keys, guitar, bass, violin through it. So Didn't sound great, but it was an interesting night.
Gotta love those side of the road bargains. Yeah, I've got quite a few goodies there. I haven't got bass amps before. The last bass amp that I picked up actually worked. I didn't have to do anything to it. There was a guitar amp that had blown fuse, and yeah, you do pick up some goodies there. Excellent. Okay, Terry, VK3FTJS, you're up for an image when you're ready. Yeah, thanks, Terry. VK3FTJS, VK3FTZD. Chris, VK3FMLD, how did you go receiving that image?
3FTZD, VK3FMLD. Yeah, very, very humorous. Very, very humorous. And it's probably fairly apt, actually. But, you know, they do some funny things with cars. Okay, and full resolution at 11 dB.
Awesome. VK3BOT, Stan, how did you go receiving that one?
Yeah, 17 dB at VK3BOT, and oh, how applicable for this year.
VK3FRJH, how did you go?
Signal to noise, 20 dB. Humorous image.
VK3AML, how did you go?
22 dB, except, in my opinion, if 2020 was a car, it'd be much more smashed up than that. Back to you, Tim.
Yeah, too easy. I did not actually get a decode on that. I could not get a lock at all. Unfortunately, I missed out that one, but I know the image. Yes. Where did you get that one from, Terry?
It come from the internet from someone who sent it to me. I'm not sure if it was you or Brendan.
It's probably Brendan, because I think you sent it to me. But excellent. VK3AML, you're ready for an image when you're ready.
Okay, I have transmitted this before, but this is the light beam device, a modulated light beam transceiver that I built with some design features that both I and the 7MJ had put into it, projecting a beam of light into the slightly smoky air of Melbourne in January. VK3AML with an Easypal peak on the drop of the repeater.
VK3AML, VK3FTZD. Very nice image. Full decode here at 14 dB. Excellent. VK3FMLD, Chris, how did you go decoding Chris's image?
VK3FTZD, VK3FMLD. Yeah, no problems. 9 dB here and full decode.
Excellent. VK3BOT, Stan, how did you go?
Yeah, 17 dB at VK3 BOT, and I do remember that smoke. You didn't need to smoke cigarettes then. Just go outside and breathe.
Yes, that smoke. Steve, VK3FRJH, how did you go?
Yeah, interesting picture. It was quite smoky around that time. I think I have sent or made a good meme on Facebook that was like, Melbourne air like smoking 5 cigarettes at once.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Terry, VK3FTJS, how did you go?
That at 21 dB, all good.
Excellent. Chris, VK3AML, did you want to give a bit more description on this one for those that haven't seen this image?
Okay, we were using a 5 watt red LED which has very fast rise time, so we can put up to about 2 megahertz of modulation on this very broadband linking system. On the right hand side there's obviously the transmit beam and modulator at the back of the optical unit. The left hand side, which is in relative darkness, there's a box with a photodiode and another lens, so it can receive a similar modulated beam from the far end and run full duplex. You don't have to drop the transmitter off and then go to the receiver. You can run transmitter and receiver at the same time and talk in full duplex. And that's the unit we want to take to Deal Island. But every time we plan it, first of all, weather went sour in January, so we replanned for April. By April, coronavirus was in. We couldn't go across to Tasmania because the state border had closed on Deal Island. The next booking we have to Deal Island in Tasmanian territory is September. It looks like now, because of the second spike in coronavirus, that will also be stuffed. So we're back to January again. It's taken a full year to try and set up the first Victoria to Tasmania VK7 VK3 light beam contact. We'll get there. But God, could we have possibly chosen a worse year in the century? VK3 FTZD, VK3 AML.
Yeah, it really hasn't been the year for you this year. Well, not for this project anyway. Now it's my turn to transmit an image. I've just hooked the power supply up to my module, my interface box here, and it's just getting loud noise come through. So I'm afraid that's going to come through the transmit signal. So I'm just going to manually do my PTT controls, and we'll see how it goes. This is a VK3FTZD with an Easypal image at the drop of the repeater. VK3FMLD, VK3FTZD. How'd you go getting that one, Steve? Sorry, Chris.
Unfortunately, 3 dB, and I only got 60 segments, so no decode.
Okay, don't know what's going on there. It could be my location. I've got absolutely bad reception tonight, which might be causing some issues. VK3BOT, Stan, how did you go?
Well, you did better than me. I can give you 6 dB, but I got 23 segments out of 92, so I think he's doing better than what I am.
That is odd. I think I'm out for transmitting tonight, I think. VK3FRJH, Steve.
7 dB signal to noise, 92 full decode. And I'll add on Chris's comment if he could have picked the worst year in the century. As a John Teeter enthusiast, I think you were severely mistaken.
Cool. VK3FTJS, how did you go?
Yeah, it's blurry, but I've got all the segments, but the picture is blurry. I'm not sure what's going on, and it looks like there's a bit of a gap at the end of it, so I don't know if there's something missing or something hasn't been said, but I think your signal noise might be a bit down too. You're at 13 dB, which is a bit down for you.
Yeah, it was a bit heavily compressed. I was trying to still keep it under a minute for transmitting, but and still trying to, of course, keep it so it's somewhat eligible. Chris, VK3 AML, how did you go?
Yeah, no trouble, Tim. 17 dB, quite good sig to noise. But yeah, you've heavily compressed it in JPEG too. I know that spot where it goes out onto the footbridge across the Yarra to South Bank. Looks like you had a nice day for it too. But you could afford to expand the time to about 60 seconds, and then I think it was only about 20 seconds you transmitted that on. FTZD, VK3AML.
Yeah, I had it on 49 seconds. There wasn't much difference between 49 and 60 seconds in the compression, but I should have made it probably somewhere along the lines of 70 or 80 seconds, and then it sort of starts to get a bit better on the compression. Actually, it's not much better at all. 70 seconds is still rubbish. 80 seconds is still rubbish. Okay, probably an issue with my Easypal then. Yeah, it's an odd one. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my signal. My computer's playing up. You get that? Yeah, VK3 FMLD, we're back up to the top. You're up for an image when you're ready.
Without further ado, here it comes. This is the speedo out of Terry's car.
VK3 FMLD, VK3 FTZD, and the Easypal net. Yes. Who needs numbers? VK3 BOT, how did you go with that one?
Yeah, 11 dB at VK3BOT. Damn good image. I like that one. I know a few drivers who need that speedo. I really do.
That's it. If you're driving anything that's below quick, you're driving too slow. VK3FRJH. Steve, how did you go?
Yeah, did good. 12 dB, full decode.
Excellent. VK3FTJS, how did you go?
Yeah, 14 dB, full decode, mate, not a problem.
VK3AML, Chris?
21 dB, and it decoded well before the end. Had a good laugh.
So that's weird, because it didn't decode until right at the end for me, and I had a couple of spots where there were red lines, but I still got all the segments. Still got 106 segments, so obviously the error checking and stuff's working well. I got that at 16 dB here. Yeah, VK3BOT, you're up for an image when you're ready. Actually, Chris, FMLD, did you have anything on this one?
I've got a feeling it came from probably the Toyota Owners Club, Toyota Car Club of Victoria's Facebook page. I think somebody posted it up there, and I thought, yep, I'm stealing that. So I've been a member of that group for ages, having been a member of a very, very early, if not foundation member of the Toyota Owners Club of Victoria back in the 1970s, VK3 FTZD, VK3 FMLD.
Excellent. Yeah, it's an interesting picture, and I can understand why it came from those guys. Stan, VK3BOT, you're up for an image when you're ready.
I know, at the drop of the repeater, VK3BOT will make a horrible noise, because he can. VK3BOT, VK3FTZD. Full decode at 15 dB here, and it reminds me of many times when I was younger going camping out in the bush in Tassie. Chris, VK3FMLD, how did you go?
dB, full decode, and it reminds me that I should be going camping sometime soon. I need to get out. Maybe just go around to my daughter's place because they've got a fire pit, but they like going camping too. We haven't got any camping gear anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, good picture. Very good picture.
VK3FRJH, how did you go?
Yeah, full decode, 21 dB.
That's an excellent signal to noise ratio. VK3FTJS, how did you go?
Yeah. Very nice, Stan. You've done something with your audio. It's come down a bit, but your dBs have gone right up. You're up to 23 dB. Yeah, very good.
VK3AML. How did you go?
Same as Terry, 23 dB. Yeah, Stan, you've dropped your level a little, and the I think, and the dBs have come up really nicely. That's a pretty picture, and it reminds me of so much that I've missed with this coronavirus shut in. The smell of a wood fire. Tell you what, from my childhood memories, you used to buy black coal. It used to come from Wonthaggi in the 60s. When you burnt that, it produced all these fantastic colours: green, blue, red, orange. It was like that fire, except much more colourful. I only wish we could get black coal again. You can in Britain, you can't get it here anymore. VK3, sorry I'm raving, VK3FTZD, VK3AML.
That's all right, Chris. You're allowed to chat away. Try to get it through as many pictures, of course, as we can, but you're welcome to chat as well. VK3BOT, do you have anything for this image?
Oh, a comment and a question. Did it come through progressive, or did it come straight through? And what I changed was that I went to mode B and killed the progressive display. Well, I hope I did anyway. That's the only thing I changed, because I've been on mode, I've been on mode A all night, and in this image here I changed to mode B. But was it progressive, or did it just come out at the end?
Come out as it was coming, Stan, and yeah, spot on, leave it as it is, it's best you be.
And it's progressive here, Stan.
Okay, so how do we get rid of the progressive?
Don't know that you really need to.
Well, no, not really, but it'd be nice to know.
I think there's something that you check. Sorry, have I got it? Yeah, I think there's something that you check under action. Select, I'm not sure. BSR, repeat header. Yeah, under setup, above GUI, you see progressive RX picture display, not for RS files, and I have that ticked. I don't know whether that's it, but that allows me to see it in progressive. If I untick that, probably it would just pop up. Back to you, Stan.
Okay, because it's been ticked all the way along, and then that last one, I unticked it, so, all right. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. It came through well. That's all that matters. You're right. Best darn TV you'll ever get. And, of course, you've got to have the billy on the boil on the side. Yeah. Back to you, VK3FTZD. Gee, look at that. You know, I'm getting better in my old age. I actually got that out.
Yeah, thanks, Stan. You're remembering. I'm actually just looking up now how to do a screen record using VLC Media Player, and hopefully it might get you to send another one before the end of the night so I can screen record that, because that progressively came through beautifully. We'll see how we go anyway for time. VK3FRJH, you're up for an image when you're ready.
Yes, I've got one for you. This is one that it involves pain and when infomercials go too far.
Ooh, what's that?
Sounds like a wire's busted.
Think something broken.
VK3FRJH, VK3FTZD. All we got on this end was an empty carrier.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to have a quick look and have another attempt.
I did see an issue with my interface just then.
30 seconds to restart, Tim. I've just had a drop.
Yep, all good. How are we looking there, Steve?
Right, if we can give it another shot.
Yeah, fire away. Yeah, VK3FRJH, VK3FTZD. Unfortunately, the level was a bit too low for me to get a decode on that one. Just would not lock at all. VK3FMLD, how did you go with that one?
Unfortunately, I forgot to turn the volume up. So, 64 segments out of 99, and no decode at 6 dB though.
Yeah, no worries. VK3BOT, how did you go?
I'm not going to his place. And if I do go to his place, I'm not going to the toilet. How does that grab it? 6 dB at VK3BOT. While okay, now that I've picked myself up off the floor.
VK3FTJF, how did you go?
No decode, mate. I was resetting, but yeah, I'm ready to go when you guys are. No decode on that, but I think it was about 7 dB.
Yeah, no worries. VK3AML?
I got that at 11 dB, but my hemorrhoids wouldn't take that.
Did you have anything for this one there, Stan? VK3FRJH, VK3FTZD?
It is something I found while Googling Japanese engineering for systems technology class.
The Japanese are a sick race.
Yeah, you've got to crank the volume up a bit too, because I have to remember and screw my volume up, otherwise I don't get a lock either.
Okay, VK3FTJF, did you want the last one for the evening, or did you want it?
Yeah, I'll just shoot a quick one. Here we go.
VK3FTJS, VK3FTZD. Unfortunately, no decode for me, just would not lock. I think the levels are just a little bit too low down. Not sure why. I'll figure it out. VK3FMLD, how did you go decoding that one?
No problems. Very, very funny. Yes, the sort of things that you find on the web.
Excellent. Stan, VK3BOT, how did you go?
Yeah, 17 dB at VK3BOT, file OK. Cat returns home after what can only be assumed to be a fight with Spider-Man. And boy, that picture says it all.
VK3FRJH, how did you go?
Full decode, 18 dB over, definitely. I've only seen one, I think Spider-Man's Marvel. I've only seen one of the Spider-Man movies. It was Homecoming or something.
Yeah, no worries. I think that's the only one I haven't seen. VK3AML, how did you go, Chris?
Yeah, no worries at all. 22 dB. Not up to your usual 24, but it's close enough, God knows. Good on you, Terry. By the way, Ian VK3 Sierra Tango has been listening in and obviously heard me drop that comment about a screen recorder because he screen recorded the progressive decode of Stan and a few other decodes going on Easypal, so we'll be able to use those for the lecture. So sincere thanks, Ian. So we have another listener supporting out there, VK3FTZD, VK3AML.
Excellent. Thank you, Ian, VK3ST. That's definitely an excellent video to have, and it'll be very handy for Chris's presentation. Apparently there's a good presentation the EMDRC is putting on for tomorrow, or a talk that they're doing tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to seeing if I can tune in. It's about the train electrical system, so that'll be a fun one. But certainly look forward to when you do yours, Chris, and I'll definitely be making the trip out that way if we're allowed to go. Currently, my area is in lockdowns. Unfortunately, I'm in a 3064 postcode, so of course we're in lockdown. There's probably a couple of the guys out there that are in the same situation, so it's all fun and games. It is after 11 o'clock, so it is time to close up the net for this evening. I would like to thank everyone for checking in and for contributing for tonight's net. Tonight we had VK3FMLD, VK3BOT, VK3FRJH, VK3FTJS, VK3AML and VK3FTZD for the net, all contributing images for this evening. I'm not sure how many images we had in total because I missed out on the majority of the start of it, but thank you very much for Chris for running the net for the start, and yeah, of course, thanks everyone for joining in on the net. I'd like to also thank the repeater operator owner Amateur Radio Victoria for allowing us to utilise this repeater for our net this evening. They run a number of repeaters around, and they've allowed us to use this one for the Easypal net. Yeah, this is VK3FTZD.